Portugal 3, Turkey 0, and Ronaldo and Portugal finally turn up at this tournament. And there was balance, there was quality, and they laid down a marker today to every other potential winner of Euro 2024 and said, "We are here." They said, "I am." And they put out a message that they can be clinical, that they can be devastating. And all of this stemmed through the changes that Martinez made. There's been huge criticism at the England camp for Southgate not making changes in his second game. And you've seen here what a coach who isn't arrogant, a coach who isn't stuck in his ways. I'm not saying Roberto Martinez is perfect. I'm not saying he's world-class by any stretch of the imagination, but he made those fundamental changes to his team today. And you saw so much more balance going to a back four, bringing in Paulinho, which meant you could have Vitinha push further forward. Bruno was then much closer to Cristiano Ronaldo, which at his age, that is needed. We said he needed players closer to him. It also then allowed more time in the wider areas for the Bernardo Silvas and the Reafel Leaos. There was then overlapping from the fullbacks as well. And it made it much harder for Turkey to be able to stifle them. It meant that when you don't have the same blistering pace that scared the world for the best part of 20 years in Cristiano Ronaldo, you're still able to get a top performance out of what is one of the greatest football players to ever grate this earth. And look, I'll start with Cristiano Ronaldo, and I'll say I was impressed with him today. His hold-up play was good. He made some really intelligent runs. And just having his teammates closer to him, having some more energy. I still would have started the game with a bit more pace in it. If it was down to me, I'd have had a little bit more pace in this team still. But that's just maybe nitpicking a little bit. But I thought Ronaldo's movement was good. He created opportunities. And he gets labeled, and wrongfully so, in my opinion, as being greedy by a lot of people. A lot of people will call him greedy and say that he only cares about himself. And there are times where teammates have scored and he hasn't, and people will overanalyze. Well, he barely celebrated. He didn't look happy for his teammate there getting a goal, etc. And for me, I've always felt that this has been somewhat overblown with Cristiano Ronaldo. I've always felt that it's been taken out of context, overanalyzed, nitpicked, hyperbole. And he demonstrated in the third and final goal, which killed the game off of the contest. I mean, if Turkey had scored at any point, it would have opened it wide up again, and it killed the game off. He saw that he was onside, timed his run well, and he could have gone for goal and scored his 13th goal at this tournament in totality. Every goal he now scores at the Euros, by the way, is a record because he's already the record holder. But instead of that, he squares it to Bruno Fernandes, who taps it in, and I was happy for Bruno Fernandes as well. I thought had another very, very good game at this tournament, comfortable in possession, trying to break the lines at the right times. Yes, you'll still probably go and look at his stats today and say, well, pass completion wasn't high enough or gave the ball away too much. This is just an absolute nonsense. He's giving the ball away or his pass completion is low, generally because he's trying to make things happen for his team. But I thought it was a controlled performance from Bruno Fernandes today, gets himself on that score sheet. And I think it reads somewhere in the region of 6 or 7 goals and assists now in 11 games at tournament football for Portugal. He's really... He's such a formidable player when it comes to getting on the score sheet, creating opportunities and goals. And he probably should have had a brace if Bernardo Silva would have passed to him right at the end there. On Bernardo Silva, again, because they went to a back four, they had Paulinho taking care of the midfield. The central midfielders pushed further forward, and there was an overlapping run. Bernardo Silva got to cut inside today. Him cutting inside brings him closer to Cristiano, which helped Ronaldo. And secondly, gets him more involved and gets him to play his very best game, as we see at Manchester City. And I thought that Bernardo Silva was also very, very good indeed today. He scored his first goal. I didn't realize this. He had no goals or assists at tournament football in 14 matches for Portugal, which is staggering when you consider the quality. He's somewhere between top class and world class, Bernardo Silva, in my opinion. You're all going to have your views. You're all going to have your opinions in the comment section below. But I thought he was excellent today. I thought I understood why they took Paulinho off because he picked up a yellow card, but his inclusion absolutely needed in this team. when I say if he dropped for the next game, he may be because they're through now, Portugal. They don't need to win that necessarily. But he has got to be someone that comes in. And I want to shout out Pepe as well. I need to shout out Pepe. 41. Let me repeat, 41 years of age. He's 41, people. He's 41. I'm going to sound a little bit like Ronaldo here. 41. 41. And the performance he put in was majestic, mature, cultured, intelligent. It was a clinic. The performance from Pepe today was nothing short of a clinic. It was a clinic. It truly, truly was. And yeah, look, I think from my perspective, watching him today was a privilege and an honor. It's probably going to be the last tournament we see him at. I can't imagine him playing at 43 years of age a World Cup. He may, but I can't imagine it. I know medical science is great nowadays. It's a privilege to have watched his entire career. It's a privilege to watch that performance today. And overall, look, they laid the marker down. They've been my favourites to win it since before the tournament kicked off. Their first game was poor. Excuse me, I've got my fan on. It blew a bit of dust up my nose. Sorry. Excuse me. And they were my favourites. They were really poor, disjointed in their first game by their standards. Today, I saw that one of the reasons why Turkey, after their first game, a lot of people tip them to be dark horses, to be superstars, sort of underdog superstars at this tournament. And I still think there's a good team in there. They started like a freight train. They probably should have scored in the opening couple of minutes. The crowd were on their side. Look, KJ and Dizzy and Dre, who obviously the terrorist pick community, or out there in amongst all the Turkish fans today. And it was cauldron. It was a pressured environment for the Portuguese. And Turkey started off well, but then the quality started to shine through. And that Bernardo Silva goal settled them. Then there's the own goal. And we're going to speak to the panel about that. Was it the goalkeeper's fault? Was it the defender? Was it a combination of the two? Personally, I'm going with the centre-back. Yes, you could argue the goalie should have stayed in his line, but you could see, what's the replay? He's screaming, leave it. I've got it. Leave it. Leave it. And the defender didn't listen to him, which was crazy. The only kind of dampener I would say today for Portugal was probably Reafel Leao. I didn't think his performance was terrible. It wasn't great. It wasn't terrible. But a second booking at the tournament for diving. Another game where he didn't really create opportunities. He wasn't breaking the lines. He wasn't a huge threat. His position in the team may come under threat when he returns, especially if a Neto or Conceição performs in the next game, which they may start in. If they deliver, if they look good, if they look dangerous, that may very well get them an opportunity in the knockout stages. I saw a comment here that I've got to go to that says Terry Bruno had 76% pass accuracy whilst creating 0 chances. How is that a good game? You will know, I think stats are a very important element of football. But the one thing I never say, that you've got your reductionists out there that always try and reduce the conversation down to a singular line or point. We don't do reductionism here, or at the very least, we challenge it. Bruno Fernandes broke so many lines today. Now, I don't like the name of this statistic, but the kind of pre-assist, there's a lot of that from him today where he opens up the team, plays in the right ball. There was also opportunities where he played people in, but they didn't make the right runs, or they didn't make connection with the ball. He did it in the first game where he put the ball through to Reafel Leao. Leao doesn't time his run correctly, doesn't make contact with the ball. That counts as an inaccurate pass and no chances created. But the naked eye tells you he created an opportunity from that point. So he absolutely did for me. Some really good play from him. And he was also just really calm and measured. And said to a lot of people that I kind of watch it because I've always used Bruno as a bit of a experiment to watch Man United players away from Man United. And I've done that for the past year to 18 months. And typically speaking, Bruno Fernandes in a Portuguese shirt looks a completely different football player to what he does at Man United. And funnily enough, he looked a little bit more disjointed in the first group game when the team was disorganized. I said for many years, this isn't a dig at any player or overpraising another. You put good players, very good players, top-class players in good, well-oiled systems that are balanced, they all look better. You can take world-class players, put them in an awful system that's unbalanced, and they'll look really bad. It's just normal for me. But yes, Bruno Fernandes, very, very good today indeed. No doubt about it whatsoever. Okay, Terry, I hear that. Can you show me the stats to prove that he did that? I don't need the stats to prove to you that he did that. You've got to watch the game. And this is why the stats show you something. So to give you an example, we all saw the pass from the first game through to Reafel Leao where Leao doesn't touch the ball. I can tell you to go and watch an example as I did there as to a chance created. It doesn't count as a chance created as a statistic. I'll give you another example. Ronaldo for the first goal. His dummy really helped Bernardo Silva score. I've always felt in those circumstances when a player makes the dummy and that creates a space for a player to score, that should count as the assist. It doesn't, though. But still, it's an integral part of football. To ignore it because there isn't a statistic for it is disingenuous to the game. And as I've always said, I love a statistic. I think statistics help to prove points. But at the same time, if people can give you an actual example from within games and within moments, that shows the eye test also works. A lot of people say things like, oh, my guy was cooking today with dribbling past everyone. Oh, what dribbles did he complete? Oh, I saw it. Well, which ones at which moment? Did it create a chance? What did it do at the end of it? You should be able to name these things. So there we go. Poor game, even worse. Turkey, Portugal. Listen, I don't think it was a poor game. Listen, I think it. I'm going to rephrase that. It became a non-spectacle because Portugal were too good for them. Started off as a very good game. There was end-to-end moments. The Turks were really pushing on hard, but as soon as that second goal went in, the life and soul was taken out of the Turkish team. The third goal went in relatively early in the second half, and it took the life out of Turkey. The crowd went quiet. You know, then you had, listen, I don't really mind the kid doing it, but then you had all the idiots running on the pitch, which didn't help. But look, it was just a match where, look, Portugal's job isn't to entertain us per se. You know, we love an entertaining match, but you know, as nations and clubs don't have any obligation to do that and make it open, to make it exciting. They nullified this game and killed it off, and that is quality from them. Ronaldo, yeah, listen, I said it the other day, and listen, one swift does not a summer make, and we need to see more examples. But so much of what myself, Mo, and Hussam spoke about after Portugal's first game, in fact, Hussam talking about Paulinho coming in and then sort of Vitinha and Bruno pushing further forward, is exactly what happened. And we all saw a better Ronaldo because of it. Ronaldo's fanboys, and I get they love him, took that as an insult against Ronaldo when we're not. We're speaking facts. He's going to play. So you need to create a system that's going to get the very best out of a man of his age. It's as simple and it is as straightforward as that for me. To me, pre-assist is the beginning of a goal. Well, it's interesting because again, this is semantics terminology. I think the word key pass is what we should use for the sort of pre-assist, the breaking of the lines pass. Because as a kid growing up, if I was watching TV with my dad or my big brother, and you saw a midfielder play a ball that broke the solid banks of four, played in a winger, the winger then cut the ball back and the striker tapped it in, we would sit there and be like, oh, did you see that key pass? That was a key pass in that bit of move, in terms of that whole move. It might not even be the pass before the assist, but it was the pass that made that play possible, as in key pass within that move. Now, maybe it still means that to a certain degree, but I'm not sure if it's detailed that in all the statistical websites. That is what those passes should be classified as. Pre-assist, it just sounds a little bit try hard. I don't know. I'm scrutinizing the language here rather than what it is. Those passes are key. Because if we started to measure those passes properly and created a real legitimate statistic for it, you would see players like your Xavis and your Iniestas so high in that area because they do it so regularly in games. And sometimes it could just be the drop of a shoulder, a little pirouette of a turn, and then that then looks like a simple pass afterwards. But what they did in that moment, enabled the line to be broke, which gave the space to others to move, which led to the goal. And it doesn't get enough attention because there isn't a direct statistic for it. People have tried with pre-assist, don't like the word, but we're jumping off. We're jumping off cue here. Terry, the situation. Sorry, here we go. Key pass is a pass to a shot on target. We should be through ball in that scenario. Yeah, look, it could be through ball. I mean, I think they've got to try and do better with the statistics in terms of classifying what they mean. Because I don't even know what a tackle means sometimes. And what I mean by that is I've seen players challenge for a ball and win it and then pass the ball on. And then you look at the statistics and it doesn't show as a tackle. And I don't understand quite why, if that makes sense. So I would love them to like define it a little clearer so we all understand, okay, well, that counts. Because sometimes things look like a tackle, but they're not classified as a tackle on the statistics. You've got to be very careful with those things. I also found out that you can win a headed duel in the air, but if the ball goes out for a corner, it doesn't necessarily, some websites, some stat companies don't classify it as winning the duel because you lost possession, because the other team got a corner, where I think that's mad, because if you win the header, you've won your duel, right? But that's just, maybe that's just me. Maybe that's just me. Anyway, we'll get off this. In qualification games, we played different systems. The one played in the first game was not right for that game. It's a good point there, Darren. It's a very good point indeed. Because you can win the ball without using your feet. I was talking about people winning it with their feet and it's still not classed as a tackle. Maybe it's because they consider some of them interceptions. But I'd just love to see, again, I think I know what an interception, I feel an interception is where you get to the ball before the opponent touches it. That makes sense. So a ball's played into me, before it gets to me, somebody intercepts. But I've seen where players controlled the ball, the player then, the opponent takes the ball off them and it hasn't counted as a tackle and it's gone down as an interception. That's not my interpretation of what Anyway, we could go on about this for hours. We all know what good football looks like. That's why stats and the eye test have to be used together. Anyone who just uses either is a fool. Don't listen to him. The idiots. Terry, if we meet Portugal in the quarterfinals, we will beat them. I support Spain, the Spanish national team. Listen, I think it'll be an interesting game. Indeed to see who comes out on top. Look, I've got Dio, I've got Halftime Hooks, I've got Hamza, I've got Mo, all coming on the show now with me. Make sure you've smashed the like button if you haven't done so already. Get that smash. Make sure you hit the subscribe button for us today as well. Terry, this is why we need to use the eye test as well as stats. Yeah, no, exactly. 100%. I mean, without sounding rude to anybody, it's what I speak about all the time. Someone will tell me about the eye test, and I'll ask them, is there a way you can back that up with some video evidence or a stat? When somebody gives me a stat, I ask them to show me where that happened. Like these two things need to coexist at exactly the same time. You're absolutely right. Like I've said, anyone who just uses both, anyone who just uses either and disregards the other is a fool. Pepe made interceptions. He made some very good interceptions today. He made some very good interceptions. Panels coming now. We've got Mo, we've got Dio, we've got Hooks, we've got Hamza. Welcome back to the show, gentlemen. Mo, a much better routing from Portugal today.
Yeah, looked absolutely good in the first half. I thought Turkey tried, but the defense of Portugal looked solid. Going forward looked solid. Cancelo occupied that right side as a winger, not only as a fullback. Paulinho provided the cover. They looked all right, to be honest. Portugal, even Cristiano Ronaldo looked good. People think Reafel Leao didn't look good. I thought he looked a little bit better than the first game. I think this is the Portugal where they were very effective. I know that the first goal was like, the deflection took it to Bruno. But I really think this is the Portugal we were waiting for. They were very, very controlled. I think this is the Portugal that we think that one of the favorites to win the tournament. Very controlled within the game. Didn't allow a lot of chances while still created enough chances to win the game. They killed off the game early. Yeah, it was an own goal, but I thought that the second goal was coming anyway. Portugal put too many crosses in the 18 not to score a second goal. I think Portugal were good. I just disagree with you that I thought Bruno today was not good at all. He pissed the ball off too many times for me. I didn't think it was good. I think this is not one of his best games at all. Paulinho looked all right. Ruben Neves coming on. Pedro Neto looked absolutely lively on that left side. He came on. It looked great. It looked very, very good. But this is the Portugal. I think this is one of the favorites for the tournament. If we watch this with Cristiano, by the way, who I didn't think he looked bad at all. That is a horrific mistake by the defense. But I actually think that, again, his run, his pass, he wasn't selfish like people. I thought he was going to shoot. He wasn't selfish. That is key. He played for the team, and instead of playing for himself, he killed off the game with that pass. I thought Portugal looked all right. Looked very, very good. But I disagree with you with Bruno. It wasn't, not for me, it wasn't good. On the eye as well, it wasn't good.
Yeah, I mean, like that touch and turn in the opening few minutes, and then swinging that ball out to Bruno Fernandes on the wing. Yeah, nothing looked good. Nothing looked good from him today at all. Just as an
I thought he
example.
missed the ball too many times. He chose to pass the ball too early. Like he tried to play a couple of through balls, didn't come off. He could have held the position, in my opinion. He kind of had a couple of off passes. I'm saying he has better game in him.
I think that's a subjective view of football, and I'll tell you as to why. Because in reverse to him being on the ball, there was a number of times where he was making runs, and the centre backs were dilly dallying on the ball. Bernardo Silva was making those runs, and the centre backs were dilly dallying on the ball. I think when you look at where the centre backs of Turkey were positioned, Bruno Fernandes is making the right decision. He is seeing, look, they're high up. You should be making that run. I'm going to try and find you. And look, those through balls don't always come off, but it was there and it's there to be exploited. So for me, I have no issue with the creative player. We see this a lot with KDB at Manchester City, taking the chances of trying to play those balls through as opposed to sort of just keeping the game ticking. Bruno Fernandes is not a controller of a game. He's someone that makes things happen. So I personally like seeing that, even when it doesn't come off. So I get what you're saying. I'm not disagreeing that there are times where people would go, keep hold of the ball, Bruno. That for me isn't Bruno Fernandes' role on the ball. His job is to see openings and opportunities and try and put the ball into those areas with his vision. That's how I view him. And if it doesn't come off, doesn't mean it was the wrong decision. It maybe you could argue the execution wasn't there. But for me, I think he should be doing that because Ruben Diaz today could have played him in about 4 or 5 times. He had the run on the centre back and Diaz's head weren't even up yet. And it's like, bruv, the run was there. The opportunity was there. So, but yeah, I hear what you're saying there. In terms of Ronaldo, obviously we had a big discussion the other night about him. We got a lot of salt thrown our way. The change in the system, getting players closer to Ronaldo really seemed to help him today.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Ronaldo looked all right there, looked lively. By the way, made a lot of runs behind the defense as well. Nobody found him, made a lot of runs. And when they found him, they scored. When they looked up, they scored right away. I thought he looked all right today. He didn't look, oh my God, he didn't look as old as people said in the first game. He actually connected the passes with Leao. He actually set up a couple of shots for Portugal. I thought he looked all right. They had Paulinho, which allowed everyone to move forward and allowed Cancelo to move way up. Nuno Mendes today, we didn't see that much from him going past Reafel Leao. But they know when they put a natural DM like Paulinho there, everyone is allowed to move forward and leaving him to do the tackles, do the cleanup. So both fullbacks went up, which is allowed people to be closer to Ronaldo. Look at Bruno Fernandes being in the 18. Bernardo looking the 18 to score. I think that was the difference today. That Paulinho, just that change. Paulinho being there allowed everyone else to look all right. Having a natural DM is what some coaches now like think that because I have the ball, I don't need the DM. But it hinders everyone else around him. It hinders the fullbacks moving forward. It makes them think twice before moving forward, which is what Nuno Mendes today didn't think of doing. Is staying back. He was like, I'm doing the overlaps. Every time Reafel Leao got the ball, he's like, I'm going past this guy. Cancelo as well looked very good on that right side because Paulinho is there. And that allowed Ronaldo to flourish as well. They kind of had crosses for him. I thought he looked all right today. He didn't look bad at all. Not like
I think Portugal need to stick with the 4 at the back. I think the 4 at the back for Portugal, the 4-3-3 is definitely a lot better than the 5 at the back, in my opinion. So yeah, they look super dangerous with the formation they went with today. So yeah.
What 5 in the back? I'm sorry.
They played Dalot as well. That's
the thing between Dalot and Cancelo. Dalot is good going forward, but he's good defensively. Cancelo is fantastic going forward. And he wasn't asked to defend a lot because Paulinho is there. It's as simple as that. It's a very balanced team, though. When you put Paulinho, you're allowed to put fullbacks that can go forward. This is it, right? This is what Paulinho offers, to be honest. Is what nobody else offers in that Portuguese team. I don't know. Like Bernardo Silva on the wing. By the way, it's his first ever goal at an international tournament for Portugal. By the way. It's crazy actually to think that player of that talent and that ilk and world class Bernardo Silva, that's his first goal in an international tournament, right? Like it's absolutely crazy. It's
I couldn't believe that stat when I heard it, and I said it in my opening monologue. Bernardo Silva is a top class to world class football player. I think he's phenomenal. To hear that he hadn't scored or assisted a goal at a major tournament for Portugal, by the way, who have been pretty good in the last decade or so, I couldn't quite believe that. Before I go to Hamza and speak a bit more about that, Dio, what did you make of the Portuguese performance today? Have they laid down a marker for other wannabe winners?
Well, I think Portugal had control of that entire game. I mean, people who are saying Turkey was poor, like, okay, so if Turkey was poor and if Portugal was also poor, but Portugal beat them 3-0, or Portugal forced you to do the back pass, or, the press was too much for you and you made mistakes, then it is what it is. I think Portugal controlled the game totally. I don't think any Portuguese player played particularly bad. It happens in football. You'll miss some passes. You're not going to get 100% through pass. And for a player to get 79% through pass as a midfielder, which is Bruno Fernandes, that's above what you need to be doing as a team. If everybody is giving 79, 80% and the other team is giving 50% each, you're going to beat them. So Portugal, for me, controlled the entire game from the beginning to the end. Now, of course, Turkey they created chances for themselves and they never took those chances. I think that there were times where, Portugal, like after the second goal, for about 5 to 7 minutes, Portugal just took their feet off the gas and they started defending deep. And Turkey could have scored at that time. They had opportunities, but they didn't take it. So Ronaldo did what Ronaldo had to do as a mature player. He saw the chances. He could have scored that goal, but he knew it's about the team. So for people who are criticizing him, I just laugh at them. I'm like, look, leave the guy alone. He left a mad legacy in this game. He will be remembered forever in football. We will always talk about him like we talk about R9 when he leaves. And he's showed, that he's not just somebody who, can be at the top of his game for a long time, but somebody who also can play for his team. And Portugal right now, I think, are looking good. So I think I'll add them to my list now, officially. So it's Spain for me, Portugal, and I still believe, let me use the word believe, not think. I believe that England can still do something in this tournament. And,
where's Germany, bro?
No, hold on. Germany is the host country. I always leave the host country alone because the host country, I believe strongly that host countries have something that benefits them as a host country. So I never add them to the list. If they win, I won't be surprised. Like it happened in AFCON. I mean, we saw these guys go all the way to they were horrible in their first 2 games, the host country, Ivory Coast, and boom, lo and behold, like they looked horrible. So host countries for me, I always just keep them aside. I just still believe that England has a chance because all the other top teams are not really firing at guns blazing. They're not firing on all cylinders. So, but this particular game, Portugal for me, yes, they controlled the game. I don't think anybody looked particularly bad. Reafel Leao, people complain that he didn't look too good. They were triple teaming this guy. You had 2-3 people marking him. But what miracle are you expecting him to do?
If I'm honest,
3 players on him. So you know
what? I'm probably being really biased with the diving bothers me. 2 clear dives have led to a ban, which is crazy. That's frustrating.
Yeah, called out. Yeah, the diving I don't agree with. I totally. But
have you ever gone to? And I want to ask you this question: have you ever gone to watch a movie or a box set, and everybody's hyped it up, and you're crazy excited, and although it's probably pretty good, you're a bit underwhelmed because in your head you thought it was going to be much, 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 much better than it actually was. Maybe I'm feeling a bit like that with Reafel Leao because people tell me, the way some people describe him to me, you'd almost think Ronaldinho had been reincarnated again. And then I watch him and I'm like...
It's expectations, Terry, it's expectations. Usually most people go in, like, for example, people are thinking Ronaldo today. They're looking at Ronaldo of 23, 24, 25, 26. Like, they don't realize this guy's 38 or 39 right now, if I'm not mistaken. Ronaldo he's no spring chicken. So they still remember that Ronaldo, and when they want to watch a game like this, they're thinking, oh, he's going to come in and dribble 3-4 people, do it. He's going to jump 2 meters high again and head the ball in. He's not that guy. No, he can. I'm not saying he can't. I'm not saying he can't. What I'm saying is he's not that guy anymore, and it's good. It's okay to say he's not that guy and reduce your expectations of him and enjoy watching him play without having to put any kind of unnecessary expectations and then now look down like Reafel Leao. I think, like, I've watched him play in other games, and honestly speaking, he didn't look like the guy that I saw in other games. But I understood that this game, the way it was, there wasn't much he could do, right? So it's okay to give expectations to yourself and not, go in there thinking, oh, it's going to be this, and then you get underwhelmed. I never do that to myself. I just want to watch the game for what it is and be objective about, okay, he's running down the flank, he's trying to cross the ball in, there's 2 defenders on him. He's unable to dribble 2 defenders, he passes back. Oh, he looks poor. I'm like, are you for real? Like, you want him to go between 2 defenders and then one of them clatters his ankle and then he's out of the game. Like, it doesn't make any sense, So, I mean, it's just because the player didn't do what you wanted them to do doesn't mean they were poor in the game. If you look at the game and the team as a whole, you can literally see that, the team, like Portugal controlled it. So I can't turn around and say, this person in particular, there was not one person that made a mistake in Portugal that I would say could have cost Portugal a goal.
But there are players that are better than other players, Dio. Like,
no, you can compare player to player.
By the way, there are a lot of teams that won games carrying players on the pitch. That happens all the time.
That happens sometimes.
It happened with Arsenal with Kai Havertz in the beginning of the season. You're still winning.
Here we go.
No. It happens with Man United.
Had to be the comparison.
I hear you.
Sometimes Man United fans come out and say this player in particular, he didn't play well, but we won the game because the other players were
in this game. Can you tell me, like, this is what I'm saying? If you look
I'm not
at Portugal,
saying that, but the fact that you say, oh, everybody's played well.
No, I'm saying, I said not particularly. What I said was, I can't point out a player that I can say did particularly bad. If there was any level, any drop in level, it was similar drops in levels from almost all the players. There's not one person I can point on and say, this person stood out today in Portugal and just took everything on his shoulder. They all played, and I gave a percentage. I said 75 to 79%. They all played averagely good. And when they dropped, they dropped. But for me to point out one mistake that maybe one player made and make, like, say Leao dived. Oh, that's why he played poorly, because he dived once. Like, that is not a thing to me. Like, if he played poorly throughout the entire game, then I can pick on him and say, well, he missed 3 chances. He missed a sitter. He had the chance to pass the ball to somebody. He didn't do it. There was another opportunity where he could have easily passed back and they could have rebuilt from the back, but he decided to go on his own and then he gave a goal kick away. Now, I can blame him for those if he did that, but he didn't do that. He did one dive. Bruno Fernandes made some passes that I thought if anybody had read it, they should be there before he makes that pass.
Why do other people have to read the pass? He's the one.
No, but that's
in the pass.
Mo. I'm saying,
read the run in football, bro. He played the right pass, but nobody made the run.
I didn't say he made Mo. Don't put words in my mouth. I didn't say he made the right pass. I said he made some passes that I would expect that, okay, you should already be on your way there. Like, you guys are playing together.
Just space, just pass the ball, hoping someone makes the run.
No. Mo, if you're a winger and we are in transition, if you play left wing and we're in transition and you're supposed to be holding the width, where do I expect you to be as a midfielder? Bro, if I look up and I don't see, hear me out, Mo. Let me finish. Let me finish. If I look up and I don't see you there, then I turn around and pass back. You say, oh, Bruno Fernandes played badly. I look up, I don't see you. So I turn around and play a diagonal pass to the other midfielder in the middle. My point is, if people were already making certain runs, he can make those runs.
You just waffled.
No,
did he look up saw the pass? Did he look up saw the run or didn't see the run?
That's something I said. If you look up and you don't see the run,
straight answer, Habibi.
He didn't. There was nobody running there. There was nobody running there, so he passed diagonal. And then you said he played poorly.
He passed to no one, or he passed to somebody.
He passed to somebody in the middle. What I'm saying is, he looks up. You're in transition. You look up. None of your wingers, none of your attackers are going forward, and so you play back diagonally. And then you say he played poorly. If there's nobody there,
I agree with that. I want to jump in for a minute. I agree with that train of thought, and I'll tell you as to why. But when I was younger watching football, I was watching a game, and I don't remember who was playing now. I was very young, and one of our players kept on hitting the ball into an area of the pitch, and I'm shouting at the TV, "Why is he kicking it where nobody is?" And my dad looked at me like I just shat on the floor. He looked at me with disgust. He said, "Son, the pass was right. It's just the passer has more vision than the attacker, and the attacker didn't see the run. The pass was still the right thing to do." You see it with crossing sometimes. A winger crosses the ball into the danger zone, but the striker doesn't make the run. It doesn't make it a bad cross. It means the striker didn't make the right run for the ball. So I think there are times where that is true, where a ball is played, and if a player doesn't make the right run, we have this tendency to want to have a go at the midfielder as opposed to, hang on a minute, why wasn't that run made by the forward? Because it was the right thing to do, especially if there's no other passes on. But look, it's a debate we can probably go round and around and around on. I want to get Hamza's opinion and on the performance from Bernardo Silva today, bruv.
You know, these guys are shameless, you know. I've never seen, like, I'm going to be honest, yeah. Every Euro games being played, the whole world is like, oh, we want to see the Man City players. So I'm so glad that some people have been shamed up again today. Bernardo Silva, man of the match again. He's impressive. He doesn't need to score goals. His job is he works hard for the team. Like what I say, Argentina have got Julian Alvarez. They'll just do the donkey work. They don't care. And they'll work hard, but they'll change that team. Bernardo Silva was class today. His job is not to score goals. It's Cristiano to score goals. He'll drop back left, right, middle. But he's elite. He's elite. He's world class. Today, the reason why Portugal won is simple. Yeah? I said to people, you can't have Dalot, Cancelo, and Mendes. You have to drop one guy. One guy has to be dropped. Dalot's a good player. Cancelo's a good player. And Mendes is a good player. But the key thing is you have to drop Cancelo or Dalot. He dropped one of them. He dropped Dalot. And they played well. So all you needed is 4-3-3. And they played much better. It's simple. Paulina sitting there, Vitinha. Vitinha is an extremely good player. And Bernardo, absolutely impressive. Ronaldo, absolutely at this age, you have to congratulate him. Even me, although I dislike him for playing for 99. But at this age, he's looked after himself. He went to another big tournament. And he's there, and he set up Bernardo there. He could have been selfish. And he said, yo, that's it. I've been telling people, football's a team sport. Football's 11 men.
Is it?
Football's 11 men. You have everyone. If you work hard for each other, you're going to win that game. Yeah? And today, they showed it. They played together. We know that Portugal. We grew up watching Portugal as a ball job for many years. And the other guy is Reafel Leao. You're right. Reafel Leao and Kvaratskhelia. A lot of people have been telling us these guys are worth 100 million. The hype of Ricardo Quaresma. Remember Ricardo Quaresma was such a hyped up player. Like, everyone thought, he's going to be. But in big tournaments, I'm thinking, this guy, Reafel Leao, he could be going through whatever it is, but you expected to perform at this level. If you're worth 100-something million, or you're the top player in Serie A and the best players, I expect you to perform. Again, Reafel Leao today, I didn't see him. Like, this is what people tell me, because I don't watch Serie A every single time. But today, Bernardo Silva showed why Bernardo Silva, he doesn't need to score goals. That's his first goal. Another statistic could be said, Mbappe's never scored in the Euros. You never knew that. But you'll never utilize that because you're scared to utilize that because it hurts. So, Bernardo Silva, he's never scored.
I said it after the first French game on the show.
Yeah, which is embarrassing. The guy's never scored in the Euro for Kylian Mbappe. But it doesn't matter as long as your team wins. I think Portugal are a threat now. They've got the formation, right? Yeah. It's now jobs for Belgium and England to do the job right, like today. Belgium got it today. And they have to do it right because they have to pick up the right players. And England has to pick up the right players in the right position. Because today, Portugal, they've learned it. And they've done it. Now the alteration will be needed for England on Tuesday. So to me, I give credit to Portugal. They needed the 3 points. People were raving about Turkey being a top team. No. They're a great team, but they're not a top team. They're gelling together. And big up to Portugal. They've qualified again. And they've won on to the next round. And they're going to be group champions for that. So that's fantastic performance, I think. And let me give you the other credit. Fantastic partnership by Diaz and Pepe. Yeah. Pepe at the age of 40. Diaz again. He's had a little patches at Man City. But Diaz has come back in the last couple of games for Man City. He's played very well.
Could be world class again.
He could be. He played very well. And
Pepe was just
ridiculous at 41 years old.
Different gravy. I will say one thing though about the comment here as well. That said Ronaldo has put Portugal on his back for 20 years. I will say where I feel a bit sorry for Cristiano Ronaldo. I know he played with a very good Portuguese team when he was breaking through and was very young. But I feel a little sorry for him. The best group of players that he's ever had the chance to play with internationally have come at nearly 40 years of age for him. There is a part of me that does feel genuinely sorry for him because there's nothing Ronaldo could do about that. He isn't in charge of developing players in Portugal, etc. So I almost there was an opportunity today, and I don't remember who crossed the ball, and it was probably Cancelo. Where Ronaldo of old would have sprinted and been in the middle of the box. but he just doesn't make that run anymore because he knows he ain't going to be able to get there because of his age. And I just think he would have absolutely cleaned up. I want to point this comment out, though. This comes from Hassan that says, apologies to Cristiano Ronaldo. Mo and Terry, you shameless backtracking wafflers. Look who's talking now. Change their tune. I warned these. He's hipster chats. Remember, listen to them talk. Now, this is the problem. You had to go at us for criticizing the team and how it impacted Ronaldo the other night. The majority of what we suggested needs to happen to get the best out of Ronaldo, we saw today, and the best happened. So instead of saying we have to apologize to Ronaldo, tell us, Mo, Terry, especially Hassan more so than both of us, you are absolutely right on what helps get the best out of a 39-year-old version of Cristiano Ronaldo. We're not apologizing for being correct. Not apologizing for being correct. It was never, we said it 100 times on the show, we're not attacking the man, we're attacking the system that isn't getting the best out of him because he's not the same person at 39 as he was at 25. No man is. Halftime hooks, what you saying, bro?
Do you know what? Yeah, before I get started, yeah, I just wanna give a big clap, yeah, to my boy Ronaldo, yeah, my boy Ronaldo, and I finally want to put this myth to bed, yeah, that he's not a team player in it, because I saw a lot of team play from Ronaldo today in it. I just want to say Ronaldo up here in the Euros, yeah, helping out his team, contributing to GA, and certain man's legends are kicking ball in charity games with YouTubers at 32 in it. That's what I want to say on that. You know what I mean. But Ronaldo,
leave Hazard now. Leave Hazard.
Yeah,
what did he do to you?
Boy, big boy Ronaldo. Do you know what? Yeah, because I was when the play was happening, Ronaldo had the ball. I'm like, even I was thinking, Ronaldo might try to shoot here, you know, because he can score. I'm thinking he might shoot, you know, because he can score. But then I see Fernandes, and I'm like, is he gonna pass it? And then he passed it, and I went, yo, if I'm on anyone's stream today, that's the first thing I'm gonna say. Big up Ronaldo, big team player. The myth has finally been debunked in it. So, boy, talking Portugal though, I think going forward, if Portugal stick with this formation, this 4-3-3, they can make it all the way to the final. You know, unless they come across like a real big boy that's at their level as well. But the way that they was playing, man, they was comfy the whole game. The whole game they was comfy. I don't really think Turkey really posed any real threat. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see the first two goals live. But when I came back and I saw the own goal, oh my God! I don't know what the defender's doing. I don't know why the defender's hitting it back that hard. For me, that's fully on the defender. I don't think you can blame the goalkeeper in that scenario.
How the defender played it in the place where the goalkeeper should be. It's not.
The goalie was shouting, Mo. The goalie was shouting before the defender passed the ball. The goalie, go and watch it again. Mo, go watch it again. The goalie was coming out and shouting, was telling the guy, leave it. The goalie was shouting. The defender did not listen, turned around and played it where he thought the keeper should be. The keeper was already out. The keeper was literally yelling. I watched it again. I go watch that clip again.
Not even
the guy's hands were up. The keeper's hands were up, like leave, and was running out. And this blockhead decided, I know where the keeper should be. I'm going to play it there, bro.
It's not even that. Mo, you play football. All right, let me ask you a question. Are you ever gonna pass the ball back to the goalkeeper with your head down?
I think you guys are missing the whole point, but fine, it's all right.
No. Have you ever in your life passed?
You guys don't understand the point. It's his mistake 150%. You should not pass the ball without looking. You guys are missing the point.
But it's the truth.
He passed the ball back without looking.
Yeah,
anyway.
but I get that. But you, the reason why you're being challenged.
Joking, Terry. It's definitely his fault 100%.
Okay, cool. I'm just.
Oh my God.
I'm English, and I miss your sarcasm completely there, bro. Because you are right. You are right.
He said he played it where the keeper should be.
Should not pass the ball to the goalkeeper without raising his head, assuming that the goalkeeper will be there.
Do you know what's even more embarrassing, though? Do you know what's even more embarrassing? He did scan his head twice. How he didn't? It's just the lack of vision was crazy. And if
this was 1994,
yeah.
If this was 1994, remember what happened to the Colombian player?
Yeah. It's mad, right? I looked at it, and the commentators and the pundits were all sort of like trying to blame the goalkeeper, and I'm sitting there
Guys
going,
are missing the points that they got Bruno Fernandes for passing the ball where the players should.
okay.
But the players were not being there.
The thing for me, which was crazy, absolutely crazy, is the commentators here and the pundits here were all trying to blame the goalkeeper, and I'm looking at it going, they're saying, well, we can't really see if he's shouting. What replay do they? How small are the screens that they've got to look at compared to us at home? Because especially the ones in the studio, because we could all see him shouting. We could all see his hands up shouting. Awful mistake, yeah. And it was such a bad own goal. I mean, they took the cameras off it because no one expected it to happen. Like, it was one of those mad moments that very, very, very rarely happens in football.
There's 2 goals in 7 minutes. I was just like, nah. At that point, I totally just said, Turkey, hey, this is it. Like, you guys are done.
Yes. The second goal killed it. Finally, Hamza, the Carl Pilkington of the football world, returns. I wonder what he'll say after another City player has a poor performance in 30 minutes' time. Listen, it is what it is. It is what it is. A couple of City players had good performances today.
And you know what? If I'm the manager, sorry, if I'm Roberto Martinez, Leao's holding bench for the rest of the tournament because he's suspended now, right?
Yes.
For 1 game, yeah.
I'm sorry.
I think it's on purpose, by the way.
You can't be getting booked twice for diving. I hate diving. I hate diving with a passion. If I was a manager, I would tell all of my players, if you dive, hold them bench.
You do know it's your club's fault that diving still exists, right?
Whoa. What are you talking about?
Because your club, all clubs have players that dive. We're all accountable. But Eduardo got banned for diving in the Champions League many, many moons ago. And Arsenal decided to defend it. And we all knew it was a dive. That he defended it and he won. And I said at that point, and it just so happened to be Arsenal, the first club that gets a player suspended for diving, because it was after the game ban. It wasn't a game for being sent off in the match. Said if one club challenges it and wins, and I think they did the whole. He was trying to avoid injury. You'll never eradicate diving. And I said at the time that Arsenal had a real great opportunity here to eradicate diving from football. If they'd have taken that 3-game ban on the chin, I think diving would have been outlawed from the game by now. But as soon as one club defended it, you could never. Every club's going to defend it.
Terry, I don't agree with you. Harry Kane is the one that caused this problem. That's all I can say.
No,
Harry Kane's fault.
I think you're missing the point.
I get the point. I get the point. I'm just joking. I get the point.
That's what I was about to say. You're deflecting, bro. And listen,
I get it. I totally understand what you're saying.
I'll give you guys an example. You know when Eric Cantona kicked a fan in the face, he got like a 6 month to 9 month ban. 50% of that ban was issued by Man United. There are times in football historically, and I think Man United, listen, loads of clubs have done things like that in the past, maybe including Arsenal if everyone looks into the history. I think that in the world we're in, sort of in the last 15, 20 years, because of the money involved, nobody's prepared to sometimes do the honorable thing. They're doing what's best for their club. And I do understand it. It's a little bit of a joke even when I say it. But yeah, there's nothing we're ever going to be able to do about diving because unless you get punished in the game for it, it's too much of a precedent. And again, like I said, if you listen to the first thing I said, all clubs have players that dive. Listen back to what was being said. Listen, I want to thank everyone that's tuned into the show. This video is going to take you through to Judge Mo's watch along for the next game. We're live at full time after Belgium take on the Romanians. Come on, Romania. I'd like another little bit of a giant killing today. I'd like a little, and if Romania win, they go through. And I really want them through because when we tried doing that bracket the other day, the fact that nobody wanted to put any of the quote unquote minnows, smaller footballing nations through, I thought was wrong. Listen, everyone who's tuned in, you're legends. All the super chatters, you're great. Members, you're amazing. Panel, you're the best. Until next time, everybody, take care. Goodbye. God bless. And we'll see you all again.